All this time I was silent, but now I think it's time to talk. This sharp and unexpected line came from Kim Seokjin, better known as JIN, the oldest member of BTS, in a statement that left the South Korean entertainment industry instantly frozen. For the first time, JIN publicly voiced his discomfort with HYBE's internal decision regarding one of his teammates, Jungkook. The question was raging in the minds of the public. What is HYBE really hiding? And why only now did the genie choose to speak? This statement not only shook BTS, ARMY, fans globally, but also reopened a discussion that had been marginalized. How transparent is an entertainment agency to its artists? Has HYBE, home to BTS and many other well-known K-pop artists, truly maintained integrity and fairness for all of their talents? When the genie speaks, the world hears. And this time, it wasn't just a personal complaint. It was something she had kept for a long time. There are layers of truth that have been covered by imaging and neat reputation management. This article will break them down one by one, based on statements, expert analysis, and previously overlooked signals. JIN's statement that shook. I can't be silent anymore. JIN, who recently completed his military service and returned to the media spotlight, did not waste the moment to convey his anxiety. In an exclusive interview aired on one of the independent YouTube channels, he openly stated that there's information about Jungkook that has been controlled and not allowed to appear to the public. Jungkook has gone through a lot of things that the public doesn't know. There is pressure that he should not bear alone, JIN said with a serious expression. He added that there were a number of creative and personal decisions taken without Jungkook's full approval, even though the face and reputation of BTS's Magne were often used as the vanguard of HYBE's promotions. The statement immediately sparked a wave of speculation. Is this related to Jungkook's solo project? Is there an imbalance of power in decision-making between artists and agencies? Or more than that, has HYBE been deliberately shaping a certain image of Jungkook for commercial purposes that ignores his personal well-being? HYBE and image control, an image engine that cannot be resisted. In South Korea's entertainment industry, imaging is not just a strategy, but a tightly controlled system. In Jungkook's case, the public saw him as an ideal figure, multi-talented, dedicated, and almost flawless. However, as the JIN convey, the picture does not reflect the whole reality. Some industry analysts stated that control over Jungkook's image was much tighter than other members. During his solo promotions, each interview and appearance was curated in such a way as not to show a personal side that was considered risky publicly. Even on some occasions, his interactions with fans were orchestrated to ensure no controversy arose. JIN mentions that this is emotionally burdensome for Jungkook. He looks strong, but those of us who are with him every day know that he is tired. He began to feel that he could not be himself, said JIN. The big question: who controls BTS's narrative? JIN's statement leads to one fundamental question. To what extent does HYBE control the public narrative about BTS and its members? Many have argued that since BTS' global popularity soared, the company began to focus more on commodification than on balancing personal expression and business interests. Jungkook, as the central visual and main magnet of the younger generation, became the main product. However, according to JIN, being the center of attention does not mean that he is always given space to choose. In this context, HYBE's control is not only limited to promotional strategies, but also includes aspects of personal life, such as career decisions, public appearances, and even how a BTS member expresses his personal views. Criticism of the internal structure of HYBE's confession reopened a long-standing discussion about the power structure behind Korean entertainment agencies. HYBE, despite being considered a more modern company compared to other traditional agencies, apparently still maintains the practice of centralizing decisions to the detriment of artists. One of the sticking issues is how creative decisions related to songs, performances, and even the selection of collaboration partners are determined without the full participation of the artist. In some cases, Jungkook was reportedly not given a choice over which songs he should promote. Although he himself had different ideas, JIN stated, he had his own vision, but was not always heard. That's what disappoints me. This is a serious statement, as it comes from the most senior and influential member of the group. Psychological impact on Jungkook during this time. Jungkook was known as a cheerful, energetic, and hardworking person. But behind the scenes, the pressure it bears is not small. In several live stream appearances, fans caught moments where he appeared moody or exhausted. This was later linked to the mental health issues he may be facing, which has now become even more relevant after JIN's statement. According to a Korean pop culture psychologist who declined to be named, if it's true that Jungkook wasn't given the space to express himself, then this could be a significant mental burden. When personal identity is reduced only to the representation of the company, the individual loses control over himself. HYBE's response. Silence is a strategy. After JIN's statement went viral, the public waited for an official response from HYBE. But until the time this article was compiled, HYBE had not issued a statement directly refuting or clarifying JIN's accusations. This silence provoked even more questions. Did HYBE choose silence as a strategy to dampen controversy? Or is it preparing an official statement with a legal approach? Some observers judged that if HYBE did not respond immediately, they risked losing the public's trust. ARMY, although loyal, is also known to be critical and vocal on issues concerning the welfare of BTS members. ARMY and international reaction. JIN's statement has stirred a wave of solidarity among the ARMY. On various platforms, they called for Jungkook to be given complete freedom in choosing his career direction. Related hashtags, though not named here on demand, have briefly become a global trending topic. More than moral support, many fans began to dig back into old interviews, looking for signs that all this time they might have missed. Some even compile a chronology of events to understand the control patterns called genies. Conclusion. What a change. JIN's statement is not only a warning to HYBE, but also a reflection on the entire Korean entertainment industry. During this time, artists often become the face of a system that does not give them enough space to be fully human. Jungkook, who has always been a symbol of the success of the younger generation of Koreans, turned out to be in a non-ideal position. He faced a dilemma between public expectations and personal desires. And now, JIN chooses to speak out, not for the sake of controversy, but for the sake of justice that has been delayed. Will this change the way HYBE treats her artists? Will the public demand greater transparency? Or will JIN's statement actually end without any meaningful change? Time will tell. But one thing is already clear. In an industry built on dreams and popularity, the reality behind the scenes can be much more complex than it seems. And the moment that truth began to surface as the genie did, the world could no longer look away.